worth the crazy walk through the burbs. I'm officially fired. Not sending the address.
Yeah, I can't really. I don't want to bag you too much because then I'll have to do the organising stuff. It's like, you tried, man. You'll get it right next time. Yeah.
I put in because it just said, is it Brownlow?
Yeah.
Brownlow Drive, and I put it in Uber, and it was like, it came right up. Like usually they'll ask like, what's the number?
Yeah,
This must be just one.
Must be really obvious where this house is.
There's one house on this street, and then you get here and there's
100.
Like it's like the longest street,
and every house is like the same. And I'm like, oh man, how am I gonna find this?
Ben's fucking fired.
Yeah. And then I'm
gonna find Wi-Fi and just go home. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, I couldn't even do that. But it said 9:30. And that was the time. I was like, well, maybe that's the house number. But it was like 9:30.
Yeah.
Walking around looking at people's houses, like
pretty close. Like it's.
What's the
Actually,
number?
I won't say the number because we've already given the street. Not that it's not my house anyway. Fuck it. You egg it all you want. So everyone, you're listening to Mike from MyStrengthBook. You've obviously been heard us talking about moving to an app a lot recently, and some plans and stuff that we have in the future. So we thought we'd just fly Mike all the way from Canada and
of course,
get him on the
we're at that stage
too.
We're at that stage now. Yeah.
We just thought we'd have him in.
Uber Black down the street too. You know?
Yeah, just forgot to give him the right fucking address.
Find it yourself.
So yeah, no, Mike, you're in town. Obviously, national tour, showing everyone the app, catching up with everyone that's already using it, which seems to just be more and more and more people. Now that I've like seen behind the matrix, that's my strength book. That's my strength book. That's my strength book. It's everywhere.
Yeah, our growth in Australia has been crazy the last, I guess 18 months. I've been thinking about this tour for a while. I wanted to get over here this year. Timed it well with the weather. I was like, I'll go there on their summer because it's winter in Canada. So, most of our new customers, I guess, are coming from this part of the world. Online coaching, it's getting bigger and bigger over here. We already have quite a big following in North America, Canada, US, a lot in Europe. But our next sort of growth pillar is definitely here, which is really what drove me to fly 40 hours.
We're so far away, hey?
Yeah. I had no idea. I've been to Southeast Asia, that part of the world, but not this far. And I was like,
it's just another leg. It's just like another.
Yeah.
It's far.
Well, it was like 36 hours total to get here. Most of that was just getting to the other side of North America to fly here. I live on the east coast of Canada. So then we flew out of LA to get to Melbourne, which just to get there was a day, and then another 16 hours.
Yeah, that's wild.
Across the ocean. So
we usually go through like either Singapore or Dubai, depending on where you're going.
So you would fly, I guess, west, going to United States or Canada?
We go to Sydney and then fly to San Francisco or LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually. LA is usually the hub.
Yeah.
Fly to San
Europe's the
Francisco
other way,
as well.
isn't it?
Yeah. Europe's like you fly up and then you go left. But depending on who you fly with will depend on how up you go.
Yeah. How far?
It's like, do you go to Singapore or do you go to the United Arab Emirates? Like, it just depends.
Yeah.
Either way,
it's fucking
so far.
Yeah.
You're losing like 4 days of your trip, like there and back.
Yeah.
Well, when you land, you're like, okay, I'm gonna sleep for a day, and then, just to get over the jet lag sucks. But, anyways, happy to be here.
Yeah, it's
feeling good now.
Yep. A little bit warmer. You said you were having like mad snow.
Yeah, like our winter wasn't too bad. It usually starts in like November, December, and peaks in February, but we have almost had no snow this year. And then the day we were flying out, we got 44 centimeters, and there was like 3-foot drifts, and it was full on winter.
Yeah, and then it was 44 degrees when you got out
here.
Complete opposite. So, definitely looking forward to missing as much as I can. So I'm here for 3 weeks.
Yep,
and then I actually only go home for about 2 weeks, and then heading to South America. So I'll be in Chile for about a year.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Unreal.
To live, just
build the company. Yeah. So we we have a lot of employees from that part of the world. Same time zone as us, so it makes sense to hire from there. There's a lot of good tech talent. So a lot of our employees are based down there, different parts of South America, and then we have some in Canada, US. But we're working with our government to bring on more people. We're going to start ramping up as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we've got into an accelerator program there that they're going to help us scale up quite significantly. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we'll be there
That's
for a
mad.
bit, and I'll be back in Canada for July, August, which is our summer, and then head back in September until probably December, January.
Yeah, it's a full-blown government support.
Yeah, so
That's sick.
they are trying to build as many tech-based companies as they can in Santiago, which is the city we'll be living in. Some people refer to it as like Silicon Valley. It's definitely the hub of tech in South America. So a lot of great startups there. We'll be working with like 100 other companies. Everybody's doing the same thing and sharing knowledge and people and all that. So
That's insane.
Yeah.
How did that, just from the employees there that you kind of found them?
No, we went through a similar program. It was like level 1 of it like 5 or 6 years ago. And that was like for real startups, like very new.
Yeah.
Probably first time founders. Like they have a bunch of characteristics. People that are making and paying US dollars that hire local is the idea. And we went through it in 2017. And now we're in like their growth program, which is like they only take 18 companies a year from around the world. You have to have certain revenue thresholds and employee base and all that. So, it made sense for us this year because our growth is pretty straight up in the air. So it was a good time for us to apply again. We got in, and
That's really cool. We always talk about like the online coaching trend here is to move to Bali. Maybe Thailand, but usually Bali. And we joke that it's actually a flex to just live in Melbourne because it's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. It is expensive here. I noticed that. It's very similar to Canada in some ways.
Yeah. But all of our, I guess, exposure is everyone's going to Dubai.
Yeah.
Obviously tax breaks and all that kind of stuff over there. But
We work with
South
a lot
America
of people
would
in
have
Dubai
never
now.
crossed my mind to
Very cheap
go
there. Weather's good. You just need to speak Spanish. So
Yeah. Can you speak Spanish?
not really, no. No, I just kind of wing it as I go.
Yeah.
Google Translator.
Yeah. But Bali seems like I've been there once. So you're seeing a lot of online coaches just pick up, move there, digital nomad it,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
The weather's great and it is pretty affordable. So
Yeah.
if you got extra free time, that's the one thing we didn't really discuss. It's like
Yeah.
you want your free time. Place that's like sunny. It's like you
Yeah.
can chill and beach and stuff.
Will they go there full time, or are they just?
Some come back. I think your visa lasts. I mean, correct. People are going to
6
shit on
months,
me.
maybe?
Yeah, 6 months, maybe even 3. I'm not 100% sure, but like they usually go for the duration of their visa, and
Right.
they'll come home for the time that they need to before they can go back again. But
Yeah.
And that's
what was
the
it like?
life.
$500 a month. Someone said they were getting by on like food and accommodation.
Oh yeah.
So that's like that's US. Aussie dollars too. So,
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like that's pretty crazy.
So $2.
And that's like
US.
eating out every meal, accommodation.
Yeah, apparently it's cheaper to eat out than it is. Like I got a client there at the moment, and he's like, it's cheaper for me to just eat at the same restaurant, twice, 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, just do that and stack your other stuff, the protein powder and all that, and you're good.
It's definitely the life. Last year I actually lived in Mexico for the winter. We did the same thing. Like it was just cheaper to eat out every day and go to the beach in the afternoons and everything else. So, but yeah, maybe Bali.
Seems parallels like that's the most accessible, like nice, cheap place.
Yeah.
Like in the North American side is like people go to Mexico, we go to
shorter
Bali.
flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the English go to Spain,
Yeah.
parts of Spain. So it's just like everyone, all these
Where's
privileged white people going to like,
Where's the cheap place to go?
where can we abuse the wealth? Boost the economy.
Grow the wealth.
Boost
Yes,
the economy.
exactly,
Of course.
Jason.
Yeah.
So we have a huge client base in Sydney. And Sydney and Melbourne are always like loggerheads as to what's the better. Have you been to Sydney before?
I haven't,
Okay.
but that's where I'm ending.
Yeah.
So
we
I'll
can't.
be there, I guess, in 2 weeks.
Shit. Paint it now.
Although I've had a little bit
No,
of
I'm kidding.
interaction with them already, so just email though.
That's a good spot. That's a good spot.
The analogy that we use is like Sydney's like the hot older sister. That's like
Yeah.
because they're so good looking, like don't really have to have that much of a personality. Because it's like the beaches are amazing, the weather's great,
The city's pretty nice because on the
everything's
harbour and
awesome.
shit. Yeah.
Whereas Melbourne's like our weather, as you've experienced, can be 40 to 19 to what are we today, like 29 or some shit all over the place. And our winters suck. So we have
So Sydney wouldn't get
not the same,
just
just way more.
hot.
Oh, it gets cold, but like way more consistent. Not like 4 seasons in a day like we have here. But yeah, that means we have awesome coffee shops and lots of sport and other shit to do.
So is it more city or beachy in Sydney versus?
There's a really interesting combination of both because of where they're located.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
Like you can step off an actual beach and like be in a main strip with
Okay.
restaurants and bars and pubs and stuff. Like it's a really cool kind of.
We're
you know,
staying
mix.
in Bondi Beach or
Bondi.
Beach?
Yeah.
Well, that's
so-
the spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just up and down the coast there, like that's the spot.
I'll let you know then what's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is better.
Yeah. Full stop.
We don't have a Bondi.
Yeah,
like,
that's just what they have. It's way better.
So where I stayed over the weekend was like where it's down in Torquay, so it's an hour from here, so an hour and a half from the city, and that's like
And that's beachy.
getting to a good beach.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
coastal
Yeah.
beach. Yeah.
Yeah, not just
Yeah, we don't-
bay. Ugh.
Yeah. It's like a pool.
Yeah,
It's got no waves.
yeah. But yeah, so thoughts on Melbourne so far?
I love it. You know, it reminds me of just like a hot Canada.
Yeah.
It's so
like
similar. Well, I used to live in Calgary. Melbourne kind of reminds me of it. It's like not super busy. It's walkable. It's drivable. The train system's good. Food scene's good. Like feels safe. Like my wife is just like roaming around the
doing
city.
stuff. Yep. That's a really good test, I reckon. Just like being able to roam the city.
Yeah.
And then obviously the next level of that is being a woman and roaming the city. Or just allowing them to. Like, I think that's a good litmus test of like a
Feeling comfortable.
Yeah,
Definitely. Because there's definitely cities where like you don't want to walk outside without like packing a knife or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. I felt like that in New York. Like crazy safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were actually really surprised of a city that size that we weren't looking over our shoulders ever. Miami, on the other hand, I was like, this place is sketchy.
It is. Yeah. Now, some of the busier areas of Miami are probably fine. There's a lot of people around, but I mean, really any city. If you
I was going to say,
venture off a
shady
little
people
too
everywhere.
far.
Yeah. That's it.
Except Melbourne.
Yeah.
I haven't found that yet.
Yeah.
It's all this, just the level of shady is just not enough for you to get shook. You're like,
Yeah, he
call that shady.
he hasn't head further enough.
Where
north.
we live, people have guns. It's like, this is nothing.
Not in Canada, do they? Is it a
Yeah.
gun thing, yeah.
I said the other day.
So it depends on the province because it's very politically divided, province to province. Where I used to live in Alberta, very conservative. Guns were a thing.
Yeah.
Where I live now, still opposite. But you can still have one if you want. It just has to be licensed, stored away, and
All the stuff that you should do.
Yeah.
You know, in a firearm.
Yeah. Responsible gun and shit.
Yeah.
Welcome to the STCfit Learning Podcast. STCfit Learning is a business coaching service specifically for personal trainers designed to help them create long-term careers in fitness. We want people to be able to earn more, work less, and work with the people that they want and choose to stay in the fitness industry as long as they want. If you like the episode, give it a screenshot, tag us, like, follow, subscribe, shoot us DMs at STCfit_learning on Instagram and get involved with the community. Enjoy the episode. Interested to hear like how you, mine's always like origin story. Like how did you get into, I know you were a powerlifter.
Yep.
You're an accountant.
Yep.
Like how the fuck does a powerlifting accountant end up
That
with,
used
like,
to be my Instagram handle, by the way. I was actually into software first. So back when I was like a teenager, I was always dabbling with chat lines and building websites and just learning as I go. I have no official training in it. And that was like my first venture as a business operator too. I was a teenager. I was running a chat line selling operator powers, is what we call them, where you could see who was like checking your away system. This is like way back when. So I was doing that, selling them for like $20 a month. Everyone loved it. It was all the high schools using it. So it was a big thing at the time. And then MSN, Facebook, all that came and just like crushed it. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to work at a desk my whole life. So I went to business school because I was like, I'll just do that. Some sort of business. I like money. I like business, finance, all that. That seems like a good track. So at the time I was powerlifting. Played hockey growing up, all different sports. And
of course you did.
It was like a natural sort of transition after competitive sport. It was just like, keep going to the gym, and then people were doing powerlifting there. Nobody was doing it then. Like it was an underground sport, like truly.
How long ago was this? Without
2000, 2000, I guess 4 or 5 is when I started powerlifting.
Yeah.
Just in a public commercial gym. There was no such thing as like where I lived anyways, barbell clubs or powerlifting gyms or whatever. It was just, I was at a YMCA, was doing that, and it was equipped at the time. Most people don't even know what powerlifting is, but it's like wearing knee wraps and suits and shirts and all that. And that was really what powerlifting was. There was no other option. Like right now it's classic. It's like you wear knee sleeves and that's it.
Yeah.
So I competed on Team Canada for a number of years, to like a bunch of competitions all the way up to number of worlds. Was sort of winning my weight class every time, Canadian international. In 2012, I was in grad school. I was doing chartered accountant designation, and then I came back, and powerlifting was like completely different. I literally took one summer off, and I was like, I'll just get back into it after that, and it was classic everywhere, and the numbers tripled in 1 year. Because the barrier to entry was just gone.
Yeah.
You didn't need equipment. You didn't need spotters. Everybody was doing it. You could just join a gym and start powerlifting.
Didn't need someone to put you in your suit.
Exactly. Like that was a big, you actually had to like have people lift your straps up and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a totally different competition, training, all that. And I think that's what put a cap on his growth, was just the friction it took to get involved.
Yeah.
So when I came back, it was huge. Powerlifting was actually growing, and I was just getting into accounting world. So I was like, well, try this out. I worked in a firm. The hours were crazy. The money was shit. So I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Just finished a million years of school. What's next? So I'd moved to the west side of Canada and joined the oil industry, which is like the big, lucrative industry in Canada. But I was still doing finance, doing different roles, finance, trading, all that. And then I was like, I just want to start a business. Like, I think that's my calling, was just, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to work in an office, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I have powerlifting, a little software, and I have, data science, finance, what I'm doing now. So we just started an app. It was just powerlifting, track your powerlifting training, and it would spit out like reporting metrics. How much volume you're doing, how many reps you're doing, sets you're doing. It's as basic as that. It wasn't even a mobile app. It was just a web app. And I knew nothing about business. It was just like, let's just throw a dartboard and see if it hits. And it got traction, but quickly learned that like powerlifting is this big or this big. It has a small ceiling on it, and the growth wasn't, up in the air of people joining powerlifting. Even though it was growing, it just, to make a viable business, it didn't work. So we tried a number of different things. One of the feedback we got early on was that, it was, to track your training was tedious because you had to like input everything, and it wasn't a mobile app. And, it was just, you can imagine your clients having to like enter everything. That was one of the first bits of feedback we got. So then we were like, well, let's just input training programs so that people can follow them, and it automatically tracks. So then they just have to click a button and it's done. Yeah. So we were like, well, how do we do this? And we went out and partnered with a bunch of like big names in powerlifting at the time. And this is like 2016. Social media was sort of just blowing up. So there wasn't really an influencer thing. It was we just partnered with like world champion powerlifters. And we got a bunch of programs from them, and we put them into this thing called a premium subscription. So it was $29 a month. We had this app, and it was like unlimited access to all the programs. You pick and choose your own program, and away you go. It worked really well. Like, it was the first time that I was like, wow, this thing scales like crazy. People want it. It's cheap, self-serve. Doesn't take any more of my time. Like, it was the first exposure to what's known today as SaaS, software as a subscription. So I was like, that business model is awesome. I want to stick in that. But again, we were in powerlifting, and it was just like the ceiling was right there. So then we couldn't scale. The business model itself was broken because we had partnered with, probably had like 15 different people that gave us programs, but they weren't promoting it because they weren't guaranteed the sale. So you can imagine you guys like were on there, but your competitor was too. You're not going to be like, well, send your client there, and then you're not guaranteed that they're going to use your program. We would just pay a commission on usage. Yep. So we quickly learned that was not a good business model either, and we were like, okay, well, at least we know the concept works and the app works and all that, but the way we were partnering didn't. So that led us into like 2018, and we were like, well, online coaching is becoming this big thing, so let's get into that space. So then we built a coaching platform, and then at the same time, all of these funded companies around us were doing the same thing, like, you know, True Coach and Fitbot at the time, I think, and a couple of these other big companies, and they were raising money and investors, and we were like a bootstrapped, you know, built on our savings and our revenue. So we got it to a point where it was okay, but we just couldn't compete with the big names. And then COVID hit. Like, it was just like, you know, getting smashed by a train. Our revenue dropped like 60% month one. You can imagine the whole world just shut down the gym from the gym perspective. The little growth we had, you know, from the coaching side, instantly crushed. The premium side was capped out, and I was just like, what do we do? Like, where do we go from here? My partner at the time just lost interest. He was like, we were both working other jobs, so he actually just sort of stopped working for it, and we were just like, let's just put it on pause while this COVID thing's happening, and we'll figure it out after. So I was working in the oil industry at the time, and then oil went to negative pricing for the first time ever. It was like, my business is failing. The oil that I'm, you know, trying to sell with this other company is getting given away for free, or we're paying people to take it. I was like, both things are shot. Like, I'm gonna go bankrupt here. So I was just trying to figure out what are the next steps. And the company I was working for got basically demolished. Like, it was the third biggest oil company in Canada. They went from like a $52 billion market cap to a $2 billion market cap in a couple of years. Wow. You know, they were just up for grabs for someone to acquire them. And that happened. So as soon as they did that, they let go of 5,000 people. I was one of them, which I was like, I wanted out anyways. So it was like perfect timing. But then I was like, well, where do I go next? Do I join another tech company? Do I keep going with this startup? Do I get another job somewhere? So it gave me a lot of time to think, because we're all like locked in our houses, and everybody's thinking about like, how do we move online, or what do we do next? So I started talking to some of our old customers, like the early ones that were adopting the coaching portal, especially in the strength space. And everyone had the same sort of ideas, where it was like, we need to move our business online, like fully, especially gym owners. They were like, well, you know, that model doesn't work anymore. So we need to quickly move online. So I was like, well, I have this app. I know how to build software. I've done it before. The other business model is broken. And I keep hearing the same thing of everybody wants to build their own app. And it was, I don't know, you guys mentioned that a couple last time we chatted. So that was like a very common theme. And I was like, well, I can probably solve that problem if I just take what I know, take what we have, and figure out a way to white label mobile apps or fitness apps. And do it well, and do it at scale, and make it more data heavy, not just be, you know, Gen Pop focused, like focus on different niches. So we just started with powerlifting again, and we just said, let's just white label apps for these, you know, handful of coaches. So I went out and sold like 10 or 20 apps before we even built it. I just made a design. I went to them. I was like, listen, I can do this in X amount of months. And are you interested? And you'll be able to run your own subscription business and coach your clients.
Yeah.
You'll be able to do these things, and it will be your mobile app, like your everything. And it won't cost you anything. I was like, no price. It was just per usage. So as you grow, that's what you'll pay for. So zero risk, all that stuff. And they were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, perfect. We were going to build our own anyway. So this is, solves that problem. So we got a lot of traction early on from that, just selling, air. I was like faking it until I made it.
That's mad.
And I bought the company out for my partner. I risked everything. I put all my money in it. And I was like, because we were down to like one employee during COVID, things just completely fell apart. So I took a bunch of money. I hired a full team, probably ramped up to like 8. And I was like, guys, we have like 1 year runway to pull this off. Mm-hmm. And if we can do it, I guarantee you there's a big prize at the end. If we fuck it up, we're all screwed. Yeah. So we raced to the finish line. Like, we worked so hard that year. Everybody was on mandatory overtime. Like, I think 3 months straight we worked with no days off. Like, we were like chasing this May 1st launch deadline because we were launching like 20 apps at once. And we had a bunch of problems to solve. It was like no one ever did this before. Like, nobody white labeled a mobile app. It's easy to white label a website or whatever, but like mobile apps are
Do you just feel like we
different
dodged the
things.
biggest bullet ever?
Yeah.
So we had a huge technical hurdle to get over, and we're just solving problems as they come. Like, we didn't even think of half the shit that came up. We were like, real time, just like, okay, do this. And we finally made it to the launch date. We had crazy traction month 1. We did like $40,000 in revenue. And I was just like, thank fuck. That worked. We were probably 3 months away from our runway, and things just kind of took off. And ever since, that was two years ago, I guess. It's been just straight up in the air growth.
Yeah, it's fast, hey.
And, we went from powerlifting. We're just like, let's double down, just Canada, US, a little bit in Europe. And then now we've been adding countries. I think the app's in like 10 different languages right now. We have like a bunch of apps in Japan. I don't even know who they are, what they say. Like, so we're expanding outside of strength too. Like, our big focus right now, especially since working with guys like you, is body composition. So that's a lot of our resources right now are on building new reporting and nutrition and integrations and all that stuff. So that's our next sort of growth pillar is expansion horizontally, like new markets, along with geographical. Like, that's why I'm on this tour. I'm like, our Australia growth in the last couple of months has been wild. So I need to get over there and talk to people. And the third thing we're building, about half our team is on this year, is called it's a new product called Press, and that is a gym management software. So we're giving gyms a white labeled mobile app, manage all their members from it, has an integration with the smart key. Basically, join the gym, join the app, open the door with the app. It's fully integrated, and you can do your coaching, and then every gym member gets access to the programs.
Fucking $30 for a fob.
And and you don't have to collect them. Like, it's basically fully autonomous.
Turn it off. Yeah.
And if you don't pay, you lose access. And then you can manage everything from the admin side on like when the digital key works or whatever. So, and it tracks everything too. So you couldn't just hand your fob to someone else and use it. Like, you have to be on that phone, and if you have a camera there, it's going to log exactly who's in and who's out. So that's one of our other big projects right now. We have a prototype at the moment in New York City with a pretty big gym chain, and we should be live. We're aiming for Q2 this year to be like public ready.
What's up, guys? You're listening to the STCfit Learning Podcast, brought to you by ourselves. Feel free to go check out our website, so stcfitlearning.com. On there, we have a bunch of free resources, including how to niche your business, how to actually sell during consults, and a free programming template, plus our business scorecard, which you can go and take and see how you stack up in the industry based on what we think is elite and how to become the best trainer in your gym, in your town, and in the industry. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you take a screenshot and tag us, we really, really appreciate it. It really helps get this message out to help improve our industry and keep people in their personal training careers. Enjoy the app. It's so funny. So I guess to give you insight into us, because I don't even think we've really spoke about it much on the podcast before.
No.
2012, 13?
Yep.
Yeah,
13.
13. We built what you guys have now as Push, so the subscription model, to compete with basically you guys have Biggest Loser. So the main kind of trainer from that had an online training program subscription model, and it was like 1,200 calories, burn 1,000 calories on Saturday, and then you can have a cheat meal, like all this shit. And we were just like, fuck this bitch, we're coming for her. So we spent all this money and built this website that they coded in a code that no one else could read, and then it was like $5,000 every update. And obviously, like, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing with coding. I was 22, been in business. I was coaching people, barely in business. So yeah, we had something really similar, and then turned it into. We started using it in the gym just as client management, because it had program selection, enter weights, reps, data, graphs, body weight, photos, nutrition. Everything was in there. Like, oh, we can actually just use this as a client management system.
Mm-hmm.
5 years down the track, it was like the industry had moved. Then I think the place that built it had either shut down, or it was just like so expensive to get shit changed.
Is it just an agency or
They
something?
handed it over to a different...
someone else.
Yeah, someone left who built the site, so they obviously outsourced it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they were just like, we don't know
How to do this.
how to code this anymore.
Yeah. So we showed a few people, and they'll be like, it's probably just cheaper to start again.
Yeah.
And
It
we're
was like, what the fuck is this?
And so we wanted things like volume management and rep and reserve and whatever throughout the program.
Check-in sheet and just all that stuff that you're kind
Yeah.
of evolving at the moment.
The industry sort of evolved through that time, similar to when you started. That would have all been coming through. So we went back to spreadsheets. And then 2019, so just pre-COVID, we wrote our wireframe ourselves on the whiteboard. Like, this is what we can build, because we finalized like our programming models. I'd obviously seen Juggernaut and how they were using like that AI kind of stuff. Avatar was out, and we were like, fuck, we can put all this together. This is going to be mad.
Yeah.
Let's do it. COVID hit. We're like, don't even think about that right now. And then we started to have the conversation again last year. We actually got a government program where we had some students come in that were supposed to design the app to the point where we could take it to a developer and they would build it, or we get a quote and we'd sort of know what was going on. So went through that whole process. The first time Jay showed up to that meeting was, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
this is nothing.
so-
You just have pictures. It's like you could have just made this on Canva. Thanks, guys.
And like, if you don't know, then whatever they show you is just like, yeah, it looks good. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, like we just got these 3 different views of like, this is how it's going to look.
So it's just like a UI designer.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know, I've got the login to some thing, and it's like, you just press a bunch of buttons and it just shows like how this screen would look like when you do this.
Interactive
Yeah.
prototype.
So I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. But then to look at this, someone just like, I think we went to like freelancer.com, and I was like, look, this is the deal. I need to speak to somebody. And they were just like, so just letting you know, none of this is useful. They're just like, this is not, we're going to have to do all of this again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck. So then, I was
So
like,
then
fuck,
we were
this
like-
is too hard, man.
Yeah, even then
And
it was
expensive. Like,
even
you
then
could
it
just
was
see-
still like, this is going to take a really long time, and the market is demanding an app now.
And-
Like, we were missing
yeah.
out on some sales. And I was like, okay, we've got to fucking pull the trigger on this. We had one of our guys from Standout PT go to MyStrengthBook and just raved about it. And we looked at all the other ones and we're just like, it's not yet. It's for the level that we want to program out, of the detail we want to program out, it's not there. It doesn't have.
I've signed up to every single free trial of every single training app.
Yeah.
Like, my email just gets like bombarded with like, are you coming back?
And that's a natural thing to happen with really any type of software. Is they do, like, someone's going to be the first mover on it and make the generic whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think the biggest ones out there, that's all I hear now. We I don't want to say we poach a lot of their clients. We take a lot.
They move over.
They move over.
Yeah.
They migrate to, more superior service. And the reason is because they stopped innovating. You know, they built the basic part of it
Yeah.
where it was like, get a workout to your client in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
don't do anything fancy, just like do the bare bones of it.
Yeah.
Where that works for a lot of people, especially like just a generic PT or someone who's just in the Gen Pop world or whatever. But it missed the mark with, you know, strength trainers, coaches that use data like you guys, like, you know, more specific things that coaches are expecting. So the next evolution of that was like a data heavy system, one that could actually understand the data, take it, report it, give it to you, have better insights. And, you know, the next evolution of this is going to be all AI driven. It's going to be like, take what we already have, the data we have, and then tell us something or inform the coach of what's going on. We know this, like as a company, like we're obviously thinking about
Planning
this.
for
It's
it.
planning for it. We're not ignoring it. Where I think some of these bigger players in the market, they just said, whatever, we're doing good.
Yeah.
We don't want to push.
Yeah, we've got a
them.
good product at the
A
moment.
lot of them actually just sold.
Yeah.
Like
That makes
Trainerize, True
sense.
Coach, they're gone. Like they gave up. Not like they exited. in
Yeah.
the business world is what it's called. So
True Coach was everywhere at one stage.
Yeah, True Coach, and then
they're a
Trainerize,
Canadian
like-
company as well, weren't they?
Trainerize was.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I think I remember one of them being,
Trainerize is probably the most popular that we've had come through.
In Australia,
Yeah,
Trainerize is
Definitely
very
the biggest
strong.
around the world, I would say. Canadian company, bought out by a fund of some sort a couple of years ago, maybe last year. But it's, you know, it's a corporation that nobody understands fitness in that world now. So
Yeah.
everybody I talk to is like, Trainerize has gone downhill completely.
Yeah.
There's no, just email Mike and get that fixed. Like what we have with my strengths book.
Like 3 a.m. Like,
That's going to stop at some point,
Yeah.
surely. It's like, all right, so this communication line is dead.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm very, I work a lot differently than most people.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, here's my private WhatsApp. If there's an issue, call me. Get me out of bed. I don't care. Like I'm hungry. I want this. I enjoy working in the space. I never dread what I do. And I've been on the other side. I've been working in a big corporation for 10 years. That sucked. And I was like, I don't want to go back to that life.
Whatever it
I
takes.
love fitness. I love software. And the model that we've built as a company as MyStrengthBook is helping fitness entrepreneurs, which is business to business. Like I I used to be direct to consumer with our first version of MyStrengthBook, you know, selling stuff to clients, but I'm not a coach. Like I never was. It's not that I don't enjoy that space because I've always been in fitness. I just like coaching business owners better.
Yeah.
And I can do that by providing software that they can take and then sell downstream, you know, and we all win. So the model we have, it's not really, I don't really have to sell anything. Like when we talk to you guys, like, do you guys want to make money with this new subscription model?
Yeah.
Let's partner on it. And then, you know, we'll all win. Your clients will win. You'll win. I'll win.
Yeah.
We're all happy.
Well, one big hole the reason why we kind of wanted to build our own app was like nothing really solved the problems like Ben said before. And it seems like most platforms still pick the user as the main priority. So the user experience has to be simple, effective, whatever. That kind of reflects out to the coaches like they have all this basic shit and can't really kind of do anything else above that. So we were like, well, we need to make this for the coach, and we know the user experience will be good for the user. Because if you're targeting coaches and fitness entrepreneurs, like they need to be able to operate their business in a certain way, and that app and platform should reflect that. And then that should kind of go downstream to the client. It's like they're just looking at like sets, reps, videos, making sure everything kind of looks good from a UI perspective. But it was too expensive, too complicated. We had no idea what the fuck we were doing. And you could just see the money was going to start piling up, even just from the website stuff that we got burnt on earlier. It's just like we said the other day, it's like you're basically like building a virtual house.
Especially having no expertise ourselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then it's like you hire a consultant to do that, and then
and they're just getting more expensive, and every year there's going to be new updates, or every month. Like you're constantly chasing. There's no building, and then it's done.
So the naive thing for us, not knowing anything, is like, once it's done, it's done.
Yeah. And the more and more you talk to people to try to make it better, the bigger your list gets and your ideas get. Like even just being in Australia, like talking, all I'm doing is meeting with people and being like, you know,
can it do
Tell me
this?
about what and that's what they say. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. Cool. I got lots of them.
Yeah.
So.
And, I think that's been our biggest competitive advantage, I guess, is all I do is talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't build the software. I sell it. I basically help people build their businesses. That's how I sell. And I just talk to them. I'm like, what would you like?
Yeah.
What's wrong with it? Why is it? Where's the friction right now? Let's fix that. That's really how we're building it, how we're guiding our roadmap, and it's working. So I want to keep doing it.
Yeah. Even like spinning off what you said, I think with that coaching element missing from all the other ones, it was like it was designed almost for face-to-face coaches. Because it's like, your stuff's here, we're going to have a conversation and that's fine. But like we were trying to teach people like, this is what a good check-in process looks like, particularly for an online coach. But even like we do encourage people to have good check-in systems that you probably review during your training sessions now in face-to-face. But online, we were like, this is what it all needs to have. And people were like, that takes like fucking 25 minutes on Trainer House per client.
Yeah. Or I have to go outside of the platform to do it.
Yeah. So I was sending Google Forms and all that kind of stuff. So
makes things tough from a consumer perspective.
Yeah. So that was our hunt. And I actually obviously did the trial first of MyStrengthBook and tried to speak to the guy who had already jumped on there. He's like, I don't know, but they're really helpful. Just reach out to them. And I was like, all right. And then I think we were like maybe 5 minutes into your call and obviously had chat open with Jason. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Done.
Show the data. We're in.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the in-person part. Like a lot of our competitors, that is their main focus, which I'm sure, that's still a thriving industry.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not it's not where I want to focus. Like I truly think that the shift in the industry is going to soon very quickly become like most people are doing online. Like the in-person will never die. Like, especially
of course.
It'll become less and less.
I think the in-person will just become hybrid. There'll be no just like show up with a fucking whiteboard and train people and go home.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's almost already dead. And then like not having something beyond the training session, like you're not going to be able to survive on that.
Yeah, it's got an expiry date.
So it's not that I ignore it. We just don't optimize for it. There's lots of options out there. I'm mostly 99% focused on helping them grow online. SaaS, software as a subscription, is the biggest opportunity. It's like, every coach out there has a time capacity limit. Like you can only handle X amount of clients. Some people can handle more than others just because they're quicker or use better systems or whatever. But the most lucrative business model is the subscription side because you can sell as many of those as you want and it doesn't take any more time. There's a lot more people that can afford it. The market's bigger. And even in the United States and Canada, like we're seeing that sort of become somebody's primary income source.
Yeah.
Like I think that's going to happen in Australia soon. The opportunity is huge.
Yeah, it's really cool. So let's go down that road. So I'm staring at Tam, like a couple of days from finishing our exercise library, maybe this week.
Tonight.
It's done.
It's done.
It's done. All right. Links need to be loaded. So
perfect.
We're a week away.
Mark this date as the start of.
So that was like the get that done, and then we can move into the push side of things. So for the listener, push is subscription based, pull is coaching based, and then you'll have what was the new
Press, the new one,
which is going to be the gym software. So obviously. So before we keep going, I just want to give you guys a little message about our Standout PT program. So Standout PT has been designed for personal trainers who want to sustain a long-term career in fitness, but right now they're sick of chasing clients, they're not making enough time for money, and they're super frustrated with the results that they're getting in their business, and they can't see themselves being here in 3 to 5 years' time. If you want to know more about the Standout PT program, head to STCfitLearning.com, head to programs, and all the details are there. And you can book in your free exploration call where we can have a look and see whether or not that would actually be a suitable program for where your business is at right now. And back to the episode. The natural response for someone hearing like this subscription model is going to be like, yeah, but I need a really massive following to execute that. And we've obviously already had conversations about it. So someone who is kind of semi-full book, maybe face-to-face, a little bit of online, that kind of thing. Have you had many of them come through? And then what's the success rate like outside of your outliers that's an influencer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so influencers, people with bigger followings, media channels, whatever, wherever they are, that's an easy sell for them. Obviously, because they have a lot of eyes on them. So we can exclude them from the norm. But the online PT, the coach with 1,000, 2,000 followers, like they're still able to do this model. Like it's the same thing as coaching. If you can sell, $50 to $100 a week coaching, why can't you sell a $30 a month subscription?
Yeah.
Like it's a digital product. The more people can afford that, you do get a good result from it. Like fitness apps it's a huge industry. Like people are already doing this for years, but they're paying like a single company, not a person. So you're still joining that community. Like if someone wanted to join the STCfit community, but doesn't need coaching or can't afford it, like that is the natural option for them. What we see as success rates, like we have some people that are just absolutely crushing it. Like they're doing 6 figures. Like it's crazy.
So 6 figures off one of those like 1,000 follower accounts is happening.
Yes, per year. Yep, for sure. You just need to be good at marketing.
Yeah.
Like because if you think about it, like if you run the numbers, so let's just use $40 a month. That's about the average AUD. And if you get 100 subscribers, which is not that hard, that's $4,000 a month.
Yeah, yeah.
You get 2,000 or 200 followers or subscribers, that's $8,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's 6 figures. Like 200 people is not a lot. You sponsor a few meets or go to a gym and have a free trial or run a challenge and get 50 to 100 people signed up. Like it will work and it will compound, and then you have referral programs, so have them refer their friends or whatever. Like it's a very cheap amount, a very affordable amount is the best way to put it. And when I look at like the size of the market, it's like I would say that the people that can afford that and only need that is probably crazy multiple times bigger than people that need coaching. Yeah. And everybody seems to be doing okay with coaching. Like there's enough market there for everybody to kind of make a business out of it. So this other segment of the market is just being ignored, especially in Australia. Like that's why I'm here. It's like there's a huge opportunity. Like when we've got a lot of people in US and Canada doing extremely well with push, and we have a couple in Australia right now that are we're seeing the growth rates. Like the signals are there, and I think it's becoming like a new. Even the market's understanding it more. Like, oh, there's this other option. I don't think it's going to cannibalize your existing businesses either. Like, you're not going to lose your clients to this thing. You're going to probably get more clients in the door on the cheaper one that you can then upsell. Like it works as an integration with your existing services. So yeah, the opportunity is there. It's just for people to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like we talk a lot. So we deal with probably 50% of people who work in gyms and that are online. Most of them have both in some kind of way, shape or form. And we always talk about how wasted the members in the gym are for people that have full face-to-face books and want online clients. It's like they spend all of their time like creating an Instagram reel or whatever, hoping that that's going to blow them up. It's like you've got 4,500 members. Pick up the fucking phone.
Exactly.
And instead of selling a session, sell online. And then you look at this model and it's like, well, if you're full, instead of a waiting list, it's this.
Well, that's the thing. You should never be turning away a customer.
Yeah.
When people tell me about their wait lists, I'm like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
It's stupid. Yeah. He says closing his coaching this week. But anyway.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity for people, like you said, with that downsell option to get people in, people that are new to the gym coming through, all that kind of stuff. That it's like, here's a program you can follow to start. And it's not like fucking, there's still gyms out there with pieces of paper, warm up on the treadmill, push pull leg, here you go, and your little drawers over there, alphabetized like in order and shit, and you drop your program in there. And it's like, fuck, surely we're further along than that. And if that's your competition, for $40 a month or whatever,
go partner with that gym.
Yeah,
like as a young PT, if you're entrepreneurial at all, like make the phone call. Like, find a gym. It doesn't have to be a chain. Like you're probably not going to get in the door there, but a private gym that has that. If you have 200-300 members and you don't have a coaching program, or maybe it's a small fraction of them are coached, but everybody else is just doing whatever. Yeah. Add it onto their membership and then fit it in somewhere to the subscription model. Like you can, there's ways to build it. Like how many people are in Australia?
25 million or something like that.
Yeah. There you go. Like there's people here. Yeah. Not all 25 are getting one-on-one coaching, can afford it, need it. There's definitely a massive opportunity there if you figure out how to do it. And it's going to be different for everybody. Like I try not to preach like a cookie cutter model, but in the workshop we had the other day, I had a list of things like running challenges is a big one, setting up referral programs, get an email list. Like if you're making some content on social media, there you go. Yeah, like don't just collect emails to have in your in your database.
We had Ash in here from MA yesterday. Yeah, and we went for lunch afterwards. I was like, we got like 2,000 subscribers on our email list. We just don't do it. She nearly fell off her fucking chair. She's like, what are you doing?
Email lists are so important. Like convert the highest. Yeah, and I know it's almost like an old school thing. Like people ignore their email list because it's like, well, I can just.
It's like your parents telling you should buy a house and invest. Like, shut up. But it's like exactly what you should do.
Shut up, mum. I'm buying Bitcoin.
So email lists are super important. Like start building them. Early on in your business, and they'll become your sort of key customers you sell into. But there's endless ways to do that, and getting. I think the younger people are probably more. Of a fit for that subscription model, like younger isn't like high school because that's all they can afford. Like
and I think too that it's not disrespectful to like that generation. You know what I mean? I'm not the old man on the porch just yet, getting close, but not just yet. But they've existed online forever.
Yeah,
so
it's normal.
Like I've had people. It's actually interesting. I've noticed in the States more than Australia. Suggest a Zoom call, and people fucking vanish. Like, you want me to talk to you? Nah, I'm out. Like, even like a phone call, maybe, but Zoom call, they're like, nah, that's too much commitment for me. So it's like, it's interesting. We talk about, there's like within our generation, a big step of like, did you have Facebook in year 7? Which is like high school, obviously, for us. So if you had that, you're different to us. The way you engage, the way you navigate the world, all of that is different to what Jason and I came up with. Yeah. So those people, I think, the commitment to a coach is actually way higher. The friction's a lot greater for that kind of generation. So having a just like, I don't have to deal with a person or anything like that. I just get the thing.
Be wishy-washy if I feel like it.
Yeah.
Just like get structure.
And I can jump into an online community that I can talk in and all that kind of stuff that's paired to it. Like you were saying, like whatever that looks like, whether it's a Discord or a hub or whatever it is, I get to be part of that. I think that, like you said, that under, what's that now? Like under 26 down to 16. Is like that's
most people under 30 don't want to talk to anyone on the phone.
Well, I don't answer my phone. I'm 33, so.
That's definitely like the characteristics that we're seeing are in that generation specifically. It's just like they want to do things on their own. They want zero friction. Zoom call is too much of a commitment. You probably need to do a Loom. Which I'm trying that now actually with what we do instead of. Because I usually get on a call with every one of our customers just because it's more business to business. Like I really need to talk and understand what they're doing. But lately I've been just like, let's test out this Loom thing. I'm going to ask them the questions in Loom and I'm like, just reply in Loom. Then you do it on your own time. It's asynchronous. Like you don't have to sit at your computer and wait for us to both join at this exact time, especially when I'm
we kind of nutted a few things out just that way as well. And I was like, I'm doing my thing whilst you're doing your thing, and we're kind of just figuring shit out, and it kind of just continues.
It's so much better. So with, I look at, that versus like coaching versus the subscriptions, where it's like they're just going to figure shit out on their own. They'll probably ask a question in the Discord. Maybe they need help with one thing or another, whatever it is. But really the big thing is they just want to be part of a community, have some structure, pay a low price. Like those are all the things that a good percentage of the market's looking for.
Yeah. So without giving away secrets, internal community, is that a thing that you guys are considering?
Oh, definitely. Not to the extent of like a Discord or circle or Facebook group. It's just you can't recreate the wheel. And it's just a lot, like videos are a big thing there, so there's a lot of just like, you know,
where does that get stored?
You'd have a complete and it's expensive.
You'd
have teams.
The vein of Mike's existence.
Exactly.
Storage. Storage.
Videos are heavy, so we
stop uploading your videos in 4K.
Exactly.
It costs Mike too much money.
For God's sake, just trim them.
Yeah, and it's like first rep to last rep over.
Yeah.
Walking up to the.
I don't want to see you tying your shoes and warming up. And
that's the bane of every online coach's existence. It's like, all right, click on the video. Oh, okay, so we're walking over to the barbell. And
then stand there for 10 seconds.
Get the grip, pull it out, have a look around, take a deep breath. Like, fuck, it's only like 15 seconds. Come on.
But, we definitely want to do something like that. But we've been just using Discord is by far the most commonly used one we have. We have an integration with it. Like any new subscriber that would join your app would automatically get a private invite, and it's just a very seamless experience, and people are familiar with Discord now. Like it's becoming mainstream, specifically, especially in Canada, US. Like I've been using it for years.
Last 2 years have been huge. Discord used to be like for gamers and nerds, and now it's like just for everyone.
They've even changed like their style and everything. Like it used to kind of remind me of like a Twitch, and if you weren't into like
streaming and stuff,
or Bitcoin or whatever, then NFTs, like you weren't allowed on there.
I remember doing
I've been a bit burnt by the NFTs on the old Discord, I must admit.
That's I've done all the NFT projects, and then my exposure to Discord before that was Pat's mentorship, Pat Davison. And I was like, this is the worst fucking thing ever. Why aren't we just in Facebook somewhere? I know how to use that. It's easy, and everyone's like, what's your Discord? I'm like, what the fuck is a Discord? How does this... But yeah, obviously the NFT space, we got involved a little bit, so it's like I can kind of navigate it now.
Functionality's great.
There's still some things I wish they... like. I don't like how it's all anonymous. Like, I wish that you knew who that was. To some, or make it an option.
During the NFT thing, I put up like some of my training on. I started a twinner just because we actually thought about launching our own NFT there for a while before it all went tits up, and we were like, okay, so we need to start being in the community. So that all happens on Twitter. So it was like some training stuff, blah blah blah. And I posted a video of me deadlifting, like not edited. It was my real name. This guy's like, is that really you? And I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, props, bro. Like, for
exposed yourself.
What is it? Doxed, non-doxed or some shit?
Non-doxed?
I don't fucking know. And I was like, oh, you mean like you don't deal with any real people ever and you give them your money? That seems fucked up to me. But
see your face on every other platform though.
Don't
put it on Twitter.
Do you guys use Twitter for fitness?
Nah.
It's just non-existent.
It just doesn't. Twitter doesn't seem like it has as big of a
only to take screenshots and put on Instagram.
It doesn't seem like it's got as big of a following
text content out.
It's huge in the US though, right? It's like everyone.
Twitter's big
North America, I guess.
All aspects,
not here,
but not. We're getting into it now. Like we're exploring it as a company just to find more fitness entrepreneurs and reach out to them. Like there is a community on there. It does not have the legs that Instagram has.
It's hard with short form words, like just with fitness. I just think like it's kind of hard to project the message.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you have short form video, it's so visual and so impactful.
Do you guys use TikTok?
We
have company accounts.
We've played around with it.
Yeah. Any traction?
No, I feel
Instagram is still.
I feel like again, it's who when that 25 and below. It's just like trying to get the message to them. It's like I think the people that have got their eyeballs on us,
it was
want a bit more information.
Too disingenuous for us to create the content. That worked on TikTok.
Right.
So we recycle our Instagram to TikTok and to YouTube Shorts. YouTube does pretty well because it's where typically more longer form.
It's kind of where
less-
our market is too, though. Like,
Yeah.
you know, most of the people we train are about 25 and above,
Yeah.
and YouTube was the first consumer platform for those people, really. So
Yeah.
more of our people are on YouTube than on TikTok, I believe.
And they go there to learn more than
Yeah.
any other platform. And
I
we're
still
very
think the younger
education-heavy.
generations they're still on YouTube. And
Yeah,
Oh,
Instagram
yeah.
and
Yeah, they're just
consuming.
smashing TikTok
they're
first.
just-
And then
Yeah.
once that's saturated, they're like, oh, let's go to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I don't
More
think they're
dopamine,
going to
please.
TikTok to learn,
Yeah.
about fitness as much.
Yeah,
They're
it's hard to
just-
get the
they're
message
looking at
across
fitness,
in
but-
TikTok. It's just like,
Yeah.
when you're trying to, what's the archetype? Mastery? Like, you're trying to deliver
Yeah.
how to do things the best.
Yeah.
It's like impossible.
Yeah. The way reels need to be put together to be successful felt like a grind for us,
Mhm.
whereas most of the Instagram content we put out's easy.
It's natural.
It's just us being
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
So it's a little bit
lean
not,
into that more for now.
not quite as
Till we crack the
fast.
code.
A little bit, building and building, whereas TikTok's like it's one and done. It's hard to stay in the feed, and obviously it's not follower based. It's algorithm based. It's a bit more of a challenge for us.
With you're going to get a lot more leads from Instagram with subscriptions versus coaching too.
100%. Yeah.
Just because the friction is
So
totally
much
removed.
lower.
Like you
Yeah.
can be in the app training in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
From Instagram click
Yep.
to app,
Yeah.
10 seconds. Whereas with one-on-one, you're probably doing an application form. You're having a call.
That's
you
it. You got
go
to set
into
everything
the-
up and know what they want.
That's
and
why
all
the
that.
volumes are just much bigger.
Not
So
advertising price, all that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas with subscriptions, it's like
Boom.
It's clear.
Yeah.
It's credit card. The payment. That's why that one snowballs very, very quickly.
Yep. But that sounds really exciting. So, what's up, guys? Another quick break. I just wanted to jump in and remind you guys about the STCfit Learning Mentorship. Now, our mentorship's been running since about 2016, where we've developed trainers through their first year of business in personal training and allowed them to leapfrog the first 5 years of mistakes that we made. If you're currently studying, looking to finish in the next month or so, or you're looking for someone to help you out with mentoring and all that kind of stuff, jump on, have a look at the details for the mentorship at stcfitlearning.com. Head to programs and mentorship, and all the details are there. And you can come and be an STC Fit coach for an entire year. Includes all of our education and direct mentoring from our head coaches. Back to the episode. 3 products, and then future plans. Like, what do you see? You mentioned AI. We've mentioned now ChatGPT a few times, and like the open source AI thing that's coming. Where do you see future 3 to 5 years fitness space from a tech standpoint? Where do you think we're at?
We're not ignorant to the fact that that's where it's going. If we're not at least entertaining it, trying new things, pushing ourselves as a company, as a technology, as a product, then someone else will. So we're obviously not just thinking about it, like we're actively pursuing things and testing and working on small projects, but we're certainly not betting the farm on it. Like we have a good product now that helps humans and business owners, do their work. And that's what our main focus is, where I feel like if we just put all our resources into, let's get the fitness chat GPT going, then it's too early.
Yeah.
Like, I think it will become more supplemental to
I think
what you guys do.
Yeah.
It's hard.
The early
a
adopters
lot
need
of-
to learn to leverage it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And we've spoken a bit like the people that we've spoken to that are like, oh, it's shit. It's like, learn to use it better. And
Well-
the people that learn to use it will be the ones that.
But you're using it not in the service delivery part. It's more like helping with content creation,
Content, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
doing,
Yeah.
that.
Just
I think that's
streamlining,
prompts
ready.
workflow.
Yeah.
Exactly, but to
Yeah.
actually just mimic your service,
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet.
The only thing that's
be
impressive is
tough.
the meal plans.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I've seen.
It's like, fuck.
I've seen that go out, but I think that services like that existed already, where you could just say, "Here's my macro
Yeah.
targets, and I don't
Yeah,
like this," and
that's-
it'll
yeah.
generate.
We were using for a while.
Yeah.
So that's nothing new. It's just built into like a language model. So
Yeah.
But I don't think it competes with the programming side of things. Even looking at like the subscription model, like you can't. It's going to be a long time before it can create the confidence in what you're doing, that being part of the community brand and the specific outcome that you're marketing to.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know exactly who we're going to be writing our programs for, and we've been working with them for 12 years. So we know those programs are going to be really good versus like a generic AI took some information from the internet and said this would probably be good.
8 to 12 reps.
Yeah, it's just like you're getting 5x5 strength programs and shit like that.
That's what it's learning from. Like if you understand AI, like it's learning from programs that are already on the internet. It's not getting that feedback cycle of like, here's the result from that.
Yeah.
Learn, adjust it, and then spit it out again. And there's that's the problem with AI and fitness is it's all subjective. It's like an RPE rating. Well, that's subjective.
Yeah.
You know, there is some hard data on like, you know, did you lift more? That's pretty accurate. And if you're getting stronger, did you lose weight? What were you eating? But there's so many other factors where it's like this model is not going to be perfected anytime soon.
The database is referencing off is changing all the time too, because it's like, you know, 2016 it was like, oh, you know, this training frequency seems optimal for muscle growth, and then 2019 it's like, oh, hang on a minute, that's not true anymore. So it's like,
and those are just articles too, though.
With that's continue. It's probably drawing some reference from that because it's scouring the internet, and then it's drawing reference off real time data. So it's like if those things are continuously changing, it's gonna be very hard to kind of hit the nail on the head.
I would say the biggest opportunity that is out there in fitness is probably videos. Like we have enough videos to watch the rest of our lives. Like we're hosting hundreds of terabytes of videos, and I think the data in those, just on joint detection, you can infer velocity, technique, probably RPE ratings quite easily. You could do things like model it with a perfect example over your example and see where the deviations are. Like there's a lot of opportunity with that, because a video in itself is just a bunch of picture frames in a sequence. So you have so much more data to go off of, and image detection, computer vision, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on and for all these things. So
imagine getting that real-time feedback.
Yeah.
It's like do a set, upload it in your rest period. You're just like, oh, okay,
fix this.
That's what we're going.
Like more velocity-based training.
Yeah, and they exist now. Like there's a lot of people out there that are trying this. I think we're kind of taking not a backseat, but we're just waiting to strike when it's ready. Because the early adopters, they're the problem solver. Or the early
they're the snowplow, right?
Like, go burn all your money making the...
Give us the idea of what works and we'll make it work.
Be the Apple, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what they do. Yeah, it's just wait until it's like it's
and
perfected.
then do it better.
And then just everyone like complains like, oh, Apple just fucking copies what Samsung's do. It's like, yeah, but they deliver it better.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why they win.
And they focus on design and UX when they don't have to do the actual hard thing, which is to make the the thing work. So that's probably where our first big and entry into the AI space will be. And then obviously depending on where other technologies go, then we'll adopt it as we need to. But ultimately we're going to be listening to our customers. Like if that's something you guys want, if there's friction making meal plans, then that's what we'll add. Like we build what our customers need, and I put a lot of emphasis on need. Like a nice to have is different from like a need. So
curious, obviously you got a few clients out this way, and obviously been in the country now for a little bit, engaged with quite a few people. The pros and cons that stand out, Australia versus North America. What do you think?
Australia's way more expensive price wise.
Yeah, that's good for us.
Yeah, that's my biggest takeaway, and it's not it must be a supply demand thing, because nobody seems to be turning away from it. Like nobody's turned off our price, which is awesome. A perfect economy is where people like to pay that price. So that's one big difference. There's a lot more coaches too that are full time, where in North America, like a lot of people are part time or they do multiple things. So it's really cool to see people have like full books and make a living.
Is it
good living with it?
So I feel like it's less normal here to have like multiple jobs. And is it more normal over there, or do you just need more jobs? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the idea of working 2 jobs here is like kind of maybe becoming more of a thing, but it just seems like
It's usually to fill a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the people, I can only speak for, I guess, the class that I kind of fit into, but I don't know what's happening at lower levels, but I've always had multiple income streams.
Yeah.
And that's not to survive.
Smart.
It just felt like I needed it to thrive.
Yeah.
So I have real estate companies. I have other web development companies. Like I've always been doing multiple things at once. I see that with our customers too. Like they're doing, and I see it here too. Like a coaching company is not just, or a coaching brand is not just doing coaching.
Yeah.
They have merch. They have a podcast. They're doing mentorship programs now. They're hosting meets. It's a business. Like they're doing multiple things, selling into a similar customer base, but delivering different products and services. So, I think that on the coaching side is probably the best way to sort of round yourself off, and make it viable. But as far as like working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, I mean, that's going to happen everywhere.
Yeah, that's really interesting because someone comes into our Standout PT program with another job, it's like quit.
Yeah.
Right now.
Like go all in.
Get rid of plan B and let's fucking
kind of
go.
normal for fitness to be the side hustle.
Yeah, it's like if you've got your warehouse gig that's paying you whatever per hour, it's like you're not going to do the hard yards.
Yeah, because you can always just fall back on that and make more hours. Do more
I mean,
hours.
just
and
like-
stuff.
Definitely, yeah. Like my experience, like I started MyStrengthBook while working another job.
Yeah.
Because I have a wife, I have
Yeah.
houses, I have a million
shit to
things.
pay.
Thankfully,
I got bills.
most of these people are like under 22.
Yeah, so I was like a mature adult.
Yeah.
But even when I started the company, I was like 25, so I was still young, but I was getting married and I was like used to making money. So for me, it was, I wanted to do it in the most least, I wanted to remove the risk from it, from my own finances as much as I could, because I was putting up a ton of cash. I was like, to build this thing is going to cost me my life savings. Let's not cut the job out too. But on the same note, it definitely hampered growth early on. Like I had half the time that I have in a normal day.
Bandwidth's only spread so far.
Like
It's interesting too, the result you had once the oil company shut down.
That's the funny thing. Like now looking back, it's like, I think when I went full time on it, it took less than 6 months to become profitable. Where 5 years before that, we weren't.
Yeah.
To the extent that we could, quit our jobs and take a living from it. Like that was, a big thing. But
I think the difference too is like we're talking in the context of particularly face-to-face environment. Like I wouldn't advise anyone to quit their job to become an online coach because it's like the process is a little bit slower. But face-to-face, it's like you can have a full book in 6 to 8 weeks. And it's like if you have to
go join a gym and they're going to feed you.
That's it. So it's like if you can show up and if you're fed either way, the phone call's harder to make.
Yeah.
So if you're not fed, it's like the phone call happens.
And I think that's a different thing too. Like if you want to become a full-time coach or PT, well, go coach or PT and do that. However you're going to get clients, like go figure that out. Like get better at the thing, get better at all the parts of the chain of running that business. Like learn how to market, learn how to sell, learn how to provide the service, get your systems better, back end, front end, all that. But yeah, working in a warehouse just to,
pay the bills.
That's just taking away from time you should be practicing, your craft.
There's a really good program out there that helps you do all of those things too. Down the barrel.
What am I looking? Oh
no,
down the camera.
I'm just put an ad in there.
Put a plug in there. And I think, just to kind of harp on that, like that is where you should be going to learn. Like ask somebody or learn from somebody that did it before. Like I wish I had done more of that early on as a startup founder in the software space, because it's not that I was, my ego was too big to learn. I just didn't ask enough people. Like I wish I went to someone that was like, 2 years into it, that could have helped me make not make all the mistakes that I made early on. And maybe they would have given me advice like, quit your job today and do these 5 things, and I probably would have been, 5 times as big as we are now.
Yeah.
So yeah, take the course, the STC learning course.
Yeah. So what do you think are the biggest, what's a North American doing better than us?
Getting popular on social media. Like, a lot of people have a lot of followers, and I think that's just, I don't know why, and I think they're just, it's more, there's a lot more influencers there for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's,
Is it a dirty word there?
influencers don't like to be called influencers.
Okay.
Yeah, I
for sure.
kind of shiver a little bit when I hear
Yeah, because we hate
It's
it.
weird.
But it's we have the
It's a
British
weird word.
Yeah.
The British influence of the tall poppy syndrome is really strong here.
Yeah.
Like, where you don't talk about your success, you're not flashy, there's no the clout thing isn't the same as the States, where it seems to be a lot more embraced.
Yeah, like you want, as an influencer, and I'm not one, so I'm speaking on their behalf, but like, I'm assuming that they love every minute of it, and they love the clout, and they love the idea that people worship them.
Yeah.
And
Whereas our response to that is this fucking guy.
yeah, now that's one type of the market. Another one is just being popular because you help a lot more people.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people
Yeah.
follow you because they want to learn from you and buy your services, or you have really cool things to offer, or you have insights, and that's mostly who I work with. I work with influencers too, and all this other stuff. But like, those ones I find they convert a lot better. They have better products, better services,
Better attention too.
Yeah, like, people engage with their stuff a lot, and everything they do just does well. Like, you get to a point where you just launch anything, but they don't just launch anything.
Yeah.
The good ones, they're very mindful of who they work with. Like, they're not just taking money to just run an ad of whatever. Like, they need to make sure it fits with their brand and all that. But like, that would be the biggest thing I would say is the difference is just the following sizes are not comparable at this moment. And it's not like nobody in Australia has followers. Like, I work with people that are, quote, influencers in Australia, which is, just more rare to find. Or they're on a smaller scale. Like, it's not, there's a lot of people with millions of followers in the States, where there's a lot of people with hundreds of thousands of followers in Australia. So I think it's going there, and it's just due to the population.
I was going to say 350 million versus
Helps.
26
Exactly.
or whatever.
And Canada's no different.
Yeah.
Like, Canada's 30 million people. So, we just we're basically part of the North American circle.
Jumping on the coattails.
Yeah, exactly. So
if a brand wanted to break into the US market, which is something that we've talked about down the track, what would your advice be? What would you say, like, if you want to get into that different to here?
In the coaching space, you mean? Like, specifically,
Maybe even education.
Education.
Yeah, because we spoke obviously after the workshop, and you were sort of like, no one's doing this in the States.
Do a tour through the States and make it free.
Yeah.
People will show up.
Yeah.
No, honestly, just go there.
Yeah.
I think that would be it. Like I said, I'm here because it's not happening at scale on the US and in Canada soil. Like, I'm sure I could fill a workshop, but it's just so big there, where you guys have like a few big cities. Like, it's easier to just pinpoint. Like, I would have to go and do a 2-year tour to hit every major city in the US and everything. But like, I think get in there, get involved, like, meet people, network, and find your niche. That's the biggest thing. Like, I don't think you're going to go in and just become the fitness mastery of everything. Like, if it's like, niche down as much as possible, which is where we started. We were just in powerlifting, and even more specific to that, we were like, let's just focus on like drug-free IPF powerlifting. I have enough reach and to talk to people. All I do is just, hey, let's come on a call. Let's talk. Do you know anyone else? Like, I'm just, that referral network will work. So it's probably just going to take like finding somebody in that area, become, I don't say buddies with them, but like have a relationship, build a rapport with them, and then branch out from there. And if that's getting referrals, like, sell your product to them, give it to them for free, get a testimony, whatever it is, then you're going to expand outward. And I think that's the only way to break into a market like that. especially when you're competing with locals. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because even with coaching, we've sort of toyed with it. I've had a few clients.
Do you guys have clients from there?
Yeah, I've had probably half a dozen through Boston area. It's like just cracked for
Where are
some
they
reason.
coming from?
Just online.
Like they're finding you on social media,
Instagram, yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, I think it was like I followed them, they followed me back, watched for like a year, and then all of a sudden spoke to all their friends. It was just like half a dozen like that.
Find out what they found interesting, get them to post it.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable. You know, even MyStrengthBook coming to Australia and like really sort of scaling in this part of the world. Like it was probably only 2 years ago when we had like maybe 20 coaches working with us from this part of the world.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Sometimes I don't know where they live, but 20 good ones that I could pick up I could just text and be like, hey, let's jump on a call.
Yeah.
And then from there, 40 and then 100, 400, 1,000, whatever it is. So it just takes breaking into it with like a tight network and then doubling down on it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing once you get to Sydney. Because like we know you're like no offense, but we're going to Adelaide next. We know that's not going to be a competition. Are you going to Brisbane or just Goldie?
Both.
Yeah, okay. I really like Brisbane.
Brisbane's good.
So we'll see who comes out number one city and then number one for fitness.
Everyone harps about Gold Coast, and I just thought that was an area, but that's actually a city. So
Yeah.
Where we're staying there, I have high hopes for, but I hold it up.
It's a nice place
standard.
if you find the right areas. Yeah.
Goldie's good.
Yeah. But we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll rank them all.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for
thanks
not
for your
just fucking going home when you couldn't find the place. Not that you had a choice to go home anyway.
That's the most STCfit thing ever.
Oh, actually, we better do how to find you. Instagram's website.
MyStrengthBook.com. Follow MyStrengthBook on Instagram. If you're interested in software, running your coaching business, getting your own app, shoot us a DM.
Yep.
Text me. Get on a Zoom call.
Yeah, do the trial and watch the tutorials.
Yeah.
It gives you a really good insight as well, and reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks,
See you
team.
next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.